These pixelated eggs make this SMP literally revolutionary, and it's not even because of all of these people you might know playing, and they do it in a way that you have got to see, by literally turning the tables on content creators in an honestly insane way. Like this little gal called Juana Flipa, who just a few days in managed to have her father, Charlie Slimesicle, so completely devoted to her that he made a deal with Satan and then did this just to get her a gift.
Go, 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 go! We have to be so fast! We have to be so fast!
Oh, and the gift, let's call it a very powerful bow that she later used to absolutely destroy Filza. Then, a few days later, after a lovely day of adventuring with her father, El Mariana, this happens. This misclick, this honest, stupid mistake, started a huge court case on the QSMP with faces like Jaden Animations, FitMC, and more all stepping in and becoming lawyers. But wait, I haven't even explained the main premise of the SMP yet. You see, this is the world's first multilingual Minecraft server, and that's just the very start of why this server is so ingenious. Let's forget the drama that's enveloped this server recently and focus on the real reason everyone actually cares about it: the eggs. You see, despite what they look like, these eggs are quite literally real people, and they add a twist to what could have easily faded like a lot of other SMPs. When Minecraft was huge back in 2021, a lot of other big streamers attempted to make their own SMPs to try and hop on the trend, but they were SMPs with streamers, so most of them died instantly. To be honest, I thought the exact same thing would happen to the QSMP when I first heard of it as well, and even given that there were Spanish-speaking streamers playing, these were fun interactions, and the mod did let these two previously separated communities interact, and that was awesome, but it seemed like a one and done deal. But we're forgetting who runs the QSMP. We're forgetting that big Q. Quackity. You see, Quackity was completely inundated in what made the Dream SMP as compelling and huge as it was. He understood what made it tick, and as it slowly died, it was an opportunity for him to finally express himself in what he made. He was raised in Mexico, fluent in Spanish, but obviously had a huge English audience, and as the Dream SMP faded, Quackity didn't cling on to it, but instead completely pivoted, suddenly abandoning his English-speaking audience to pursue a Spanish-speaking content creation career, and just doing incredibly well. Then finally, as there was a lull in the Minecraft scene with the Dream SMP literally about to end and no other big plans, Quackity took his opportunity. He started a project he'd been dreaming up for nearly 2 years, and it was a huge success. But he knew, just like the Dream SMP, that it needed something to help it last. And what was that secret ingredient? What made this the perfect recipe for a Minecraft SMP? The eggs. The eggs gave the QSMP this perfect blend of random story as well as genuine interaction. You see, every creator was teamed up with one of their counterparts who spoke the other language and given an egg to adopt. And the secret thing that made these eggs so special was that they're controlled by actual real people, bilingual admins who know both languages that their parents speak and who have basically only one goal: to help make the streams interesting, engaging, and funny. And the thing is, when you're given a little thing to take care of, something that can barely communicate and that is near helpless, reliant on you for survival, well, that activates a parental instinct in most people, and this certainly happened for every streamer on the QSMP. They got, well, basically parasocially attached to these eggs, although it's not exactly parasocial, to the point where plot developments actually make these streamers feel things in real life. This is real.
No! No! Dapper, you need to crawl to the entrance! Crawl to the entrance! Okay, run to the entrance, crawl, you have to crawl! Dapper, please! Gosh dang it, no!
And remember, these eggs are real people. They're not some mob coded into a mod, they're actual adult players who obviously play into stories the way an AI might not, all while the players, at least on a subconscious level, see them as not much more than eggs on the server, see them as intrinsically linked to the server, and these pseudo relationships, while they're not exactly parasocial, they got the creators so invested in the server that they wouldn't let it die like had happened so many times before with other SMPs. But actually, you know who they did let die? That's right, the eggs. No, but all jokes aside, right? These eggs are very finicky in the way that they've been coded in. So there are glitches on the map, and like you saw earlier, they can die with just one misclick, which has happened multiple times. And it gets even worse. You see, after that first misclick by Mariana, who is the co-parent of Juana Flipa with Charlie, by the way, he accidentally ended up killing his daughter, Juana Flipa, and Charlie and Mariana started hating each other, saying things like divorce, threatening death, but much more than that, showing that they'd do anything to get their child back. Charlie recruited literally every player that he could to become his lawyer, with Mariana being able to do little as a bereaved father brought him to court and made him relive his worst mistake on the SMP in front of everyone. The court case was long and arduous, but in the end, the judge, who, well, kind of ironically also plays the role of Satan, agreed to revive Juana Flipa on one last life because the breaking of the bed felt unfair. It seemed like all was well, and Flipa, once revived, told her parents that she had literally gone to hell, and that this life was all that mattered to her, and about her best friend. Helene is Quackity's egg, raised on his own, a single parent desperately trying to keep his child alive in a server where the others have guns, where the devil runs rampant, and also is a judicial system for some reason, and where misclicks can end lives. But when Helene met Flipa, well, something clicked, and in a good way for these eggs for once. The two became best friends to the point where they would do everything together. And now that Flipa was back after this long court case, after being in hell, she was slowly starting to try to trust her family again, trying to move past what she had gone through, and she would go on an adventure with Charlie and Helene later that very same day, a reminder trip of sorts to help her remember what life was like before the click.
If Juana is vegan, I respect that. You're a good kid, Talene. You're a good kid. Bones is what? Oh, fuck! Oh, shit! Talene!
Flipa just watched her father, the one person who would never hurt her, murder her best friend. She watched her father swing to defend her, and in that very same swoop, take away the person she related to most. He killed her best friend. Not even just Tilly, not even just Flipa. Imagine what that did to Charlie. It drove the man to exile himself, to completely remove himself from society, putting himself into what he called exile, and to add on to that, to dogpile onto the tragedy of the entire situation just a few days later, in the exact same way that Charlie had killed Tilly by accident with the sweeping edge of his sword. Mariana killed Flipa. Again, in the same way, permanently. Hearing that news, well, Charlie forgave Mariana, but I also think it broke something inside him. Snapped the last thread of sanity that was holding him back, and with that thread snapped, Charlie became, well, the Geg. Geg is Charlie's way of coping with the trauma that he experienced with regard to eggs. It's his way of finding out what it's like to be part of a real and not dysfunctional family, and it's, well, it's hilarious, right? Watching Charlie interact with people like Wilbur and fit in this stupid little green egg's body, it's really funny, but also kind of horrifying. Because, think about it, right? Geg was confirmed to be a rotten smelling egg, squishier than normal. But what if Geg wasn't just any old egg being controlled by Charlie, but the body of one of the eggs that had been killed? What if that was how he was coping, by trying to fill the void that he felt so responsible for? A void, by the way, that would soon be threatening to collapse upon the rest of the server, suffocating and all-encompassing. Because with an announcement that diamonds would finally be unlocked for the players to use, the server said that in 6 days, it would take something in return. The eggs. You see, these eggs actually predate the players on the island, and they've been told that they were dragon eggs.
What the fuck?
From a massive dragon who had since flown away. And in that very same announcement, the players were told that the dragon would be coming back, and that it would be taking back its eggs, and that there was nothing more that could be done. Sure, the players were introduced to the eggs as just taking care of them temporarily, but the bonds that they were formed with these eggs were no joke. That was it. The island members who had been forced to spend hours a day with these eggs because of daily tasks would suddenly be completely robbed of their one connection on the server, the one thing that they had all made such a real connection to. The day rolled around, and as the members woke up, they found their eggs gone. Disappeared in the night, taken without so much as a trace left. And as they peered out towards the horizon though, they saw them in a crate on a storage ship of all things. Who? The Brazilians. No, but seriously, right? That's where the rest of the story with these little fellas kind of has me stumped. You see, the day the eggs disappeared, instead of the dragon arriving, a group of Brazilian creators arrived, complete with the mod now being able to translate Portuguese, and the rest of the eggs soon arrived back with cracks in their shells, which, okay, that's a little odd, but whatever. But then it gets even weirder. You see, a few days after, these random assortments of ones and zeros, binary entities as some call them, start viciously attacking the players and the eggs on the server, with one of them even causing Jaden and Royer's egg Bobby to drown. Which is really, really weird, and something else that isn't kind of related but also makes it a lot weirder was actually hidden in plain sight. You see, you know that announcement I told you about earlier, the one with the diamonds? That announcement, which we now know was a lie, well, just before it, there was a series of beeps, Morse code that spelled out, "Look for a way out. This isn't your life." Thanks to this person on Twitter for figuring that out, by the way. But that's a statement that's in direct contrast to what the players were told at the start of the server. Oh, and the person who told them that announcement is a mystery as well, by the way. He's called, and I am honest to God, not making this up, Osito Bimbo. but we can just call him the snowman. This thing, which took a census on the first day, is also just downright odd. It only talks in TTS, it has seemingly unknowable powers and motives, and is also the binary entity? At least his skin seeming glitched into view for a few seconds while Phil was being chased by the entity. So we have a false dragon, weird entities floating around trying to kill players, eggs that are disappearing and reappearing, absolutely no idea why any of these things started to happen, Portuguese creators going insane and solving ARGs on their own. I mean, I think it's pretty clear now that these eggs are not just insanely weird, but also just make you fall in love with both them and their stories, and the server. And as for their future, well, I definitely have theories, but they're a bit too outlandish for this video. I think they let me cook for too long and now the kitchen is on fire, so I'll deal with that. But in the meantime, why not check out this video next? Subscribe.